All right. I think we're live everywhere now. So now I just need to break out the tunes. All right. So there we go. I think it's in this folder. No, that's the wrong song. Oh, you got one of the noisy cables.
Yes.
Well, it'll be fine. Once we get that cable put where we want it.
That's why I'm moving it around this way.
So that way we
stand
get it
somewhere.
stationary over here. And that way it won't wiggle that there. And, we could set my camera angle to actually be inclusive. There we go. Yeah, I don't have a stand, though, and that's dynamic, so that's not going to... No, what I could do is try to do that, and then have us just be a room mic and get a bunch of room sound. But,
Nah, I can talk into the microphone.
Yeah, if you don't... Besides, usually to get bored and wander off about 15 minutes in.
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Maybe we should just make this a room mic, because you just talk without picking up the... We'll figure this out as we go. All right, but we need the opening theme tune. So here we go. Oh, you know what? I completely forgot one very important thing. Headphones. And I don't have a second headphone jack on this fucking board. But Dune gave me something. So tell you what we're gonna do. We're going to play the opening theme tune, and Gators is going to play a game of Beat the Clock to see how fast he can get to the next room back here and maybe find a pair of headphones along the way, too.
The following program is intended for mature audiences.
Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you.
Welcome, humans. I am ready for you.
We show onboard computer synchronization.
Roger that.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Let's rock!
Oh, you're going straight to hell for that one.
That's the fact, Jack!
Back off, man. I'm a scientist. Is this moron number one? Put moron number two on the phone.
Now, funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you, I make you laugh. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Yeah, I know that, dude. You're mocking me, aren't you?
Sure, a monkey's might fly out of my butt.
Oh, my heart just stopped. Ah, there it goes.
At this point. Bear with us, people, as we break international copyright law. Gotta figure out how these work.
But what I really want to know is...
No sound, though.
I go my way. And I got to know.
There we go.
We always cry. If we was leaving, getting good. We must have
One's the left volume, one's the right volume.
and turn this planet back to wood. So tell me why we got to die and give each other.
So is your level good?
Yep.
All right. So this sits on my lap, and we're ready to do a show.
You don't have to sit in your lap.
I got to pull up my shorts because I'm showing off my tidy whities. Tidy whities. Totally coincidence that both Damon and I sport the tidy whities. And the only reason neither of us know this is because we've both mentioned it on our shows. And hello, everyone. This is the Dune and Bob fill-in show with Gators and Gothard.
Yes.
So you talk softer than I do. So
I will talk softer than you do.
So
and I'm talking into a dynamic mic.
Yeah. Well, I did EQ that mic to kind of have the similar timbre as my mic. Yeah. So my mic is flat. Your mic is very
a little bit jacked.
Is jacked. I jacked your mic to try to make the dynamic sound condenser-esque. Is that a word? We just made it a word. Condensorped. Yeah. Unfortunately, sad news from Dune. His dog Simon has died, and I knew Simon. I met Simon twice, and Simon was a good dog. And Simon obviously remembered me from the first time because the whole second time we visited Dune, Simon had his eyes right on me anytime I entered a room. Like, I remember you. I don't trust you. You have less hair than last time, and what is up with that? And no, but he was a good dog. And he loved me whenever I was holding dog treats in my hand.
That's a sign of a dog.
Yes. And otherwise, he had his eye on me, and he didn't try. I take
peanut butter. That's what dogs like.
Peanut butter between the meat. No, wait. That's
dog would probably like peanut butter between the meat.
That's a whole other. Let's not give anyone any ideas. So yes, this show's kind of like a moment to pay tribute to Simon, who's been a part of the station. I'm sure Simon has entered frame many a time in the background on Dune's webcam, just kind of hop up on the bed there and kind of look to the camera going like, yeah, that's right. I'm here. And I know that guy's on his screen and I am watching him just like I did when he visited. And I mean, heck, you walked into a room in Dune's house and you received a greeting. And that's the greeting you received right there. They wanted to let you know that they noticed you.
Those are full-size dachshunds.
Yeah, yes, these are
full-size dachshunds.
He's got a pack. He's got a pack of dachshunds. And
release the hounds.
Release the mini hounds. And they're all good dogs, and very sad to hear about Simon's passing. So our thoughts and hearts go out to Dune, and if Dune does have a moment to be tuning in, we will make sure to make this a show that Dune can listen into without his blood boiling, which I have a tendency to make happen at times, as we all heard on last week's show, which is good every now and then to talk. But we don't need to do that every week.
Sorry.
Is that something you ate? Yeah. I need to replace some of my mic cables. It's just that normally I only use.
No, I accidentally slipped the. I grabbed it and I pressed.
Oh.
I pressed the button down by accident.
You push the. You turn the suck knob on.
I turned the knob from this to
there.
Now it sucks.
Yeah, the suck knob. Yes. That's great. But we got, you know what? Yingling has an Oktoberfest now.
Yay. October beer.
Yes. Good stuff. And it's better than Sam Adams' Oktoberfest, we found out. And has twist off. So you don't need to carry around a bottle opener.
Go figure,
with you.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Hired German.
I like Yingling. I like Molson. I like Yingling. I generally go back and forth between those two as kind of a standard to just have a 12-pack in the fridge. So yeah, we missed you for the official Amateur Hour reunion. Dark Elf was all disappointed, and Emily.
I was disappointed.
Everyone was disappointed. You unfortunately were in a dead zone. I take it. Well, you had the.
I was in a dead zone.
Yeah,
and I'm just giving you a taste of what it would be like to what I would have been like.
I see. Well, Seth,
satellite internet does not work wonders.
Well, you know, we would always be prepared for that because we could always just bring up Confuse a Cat anytime you stop mid-sentence.
Well, just confuse a cat
to kind of fill the dead air in between your thoughts. Yeah, that would have sucked. Well, it did suck.
But it is Dune show, so I was like, we got to do something.
Yeah, you're here.
Dune is not happy. He's lamenting the loss of a great friend.
Yeah, he was a good dog. Kept his eyes on you.
Yeah,
and
that was the same dog that you see in all those YouTube things with that's carrying a rifle and waddling along.
Oh, he didn't need a rifle. Simon didn't need a rifle. Simon, if you were getting up to pee in the middle of the night, Simon knew it, and Simon made sure that everyone knew it, along with everyone else, all the other dogs. Now, it was a group effort. To be fair, I don't know which dog started the barking fest, and I believe the dogs all sleep in their bed.
But they all have to honor the bark.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Original one. So whichever one starts it, the rest have to follow.
Yeah. It's an honor.
How it works.
Honor code. One dog barks, we all bark, because that's just part of being the pack. So, anyways, yeah. We've done a little record shopping because, I was talking to Gothard online. I was like, hey, we got to hang out. You got to, 3-day weekend and there's beer in the fridge. Next thing I knew, there was a knock on my door.
Yes.
And so we yesterday was a beautiful day. Went into Boston, did a little record shopping there. And, we got dollar bin specials. Do we have any other material before we get to the dollar bin specials, or should we just spend $2 sharing our haul with everyone? Did I say $2? I meant to say 2 hours.
Well, we can spend an hour of it. It's a tradition to bore everyone with dollar bin specials,
right? Well,
which is funny because Dune actually enjoys the dollar bin specials.
Dune does. Well, you know what we should do? We should talk about actually some big news broke this week, which impacts me, impacts you, impacts the show, impacts Dune, and impacts Addy. And those are the only people it impacts.
Is the McRib coming back?
Dune and Addy. No. AOL Instant Messenger is going away.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
And the only people I still talk to on AOL Instant Messenger are you, Dune, and Addy. I'm also friends with all three of you on Facebook. And so I have multiple times over the past 6 months thought to myself, I don't need to log in to AOL Instant Messenger. Why do I still have this? And I realized I have Pigeon and I have it set up to connect to my AOL Instant Messenger and Yahoo Messenger.
I got Quail.
You got Quail, yeah. I used to have an ICQ account. That might still work.
We all know that the Macintosh version is Dove.
Dove.
Rather than Pigeon.
For Messenger. Well, Pigeon's gone downhill lately. Pigeon's the program I use that lets you log into several messengers in one thing. And you can use Pigeon to connect to Facebook. But I tell you, I don't even install, when I set up Windows 10 on my my tablet laptop, I didn't even install Pigeon on there. Well, I did, but I ended up not using it because with Windows 10 you have the apps, and there's a Facebook Messenger app. And being that the only people I talk to on AOL Instant Messenger are Dune and Addy and Gothard, who all three are Facebook friends of mine, I was like, well, I really don't need to install Pigeon because I don't need to connect to Facebook on Pigeon when I have a Facebook Messenger app. But I don't think there's a specific dedicated Facebook Messenger app for Windows 7. So, and when I upgraded my PC to Windows 10, it started causing my audio programs to crash. Much like Gothard's about to fall asleep and crash if I keep talking about my computers for too long.
You say something?
No, but how's Neo doing?
Is Neo still around?
On Twitter and Facebook. Not the network though. I don't think she's listened or called in. And me and her have.
I thought you just called in.
Yeah, she did, and she just hung up. That's a good question. Where is Neo? Well, I guess the real question is Neo okay with me? or is Neo mad at me? And I'm not sure, because Neo's one of those people that, if you say something that she slightly doesn't like, she lets you know it.
Life.
Well, no, not banned for life, but she lets you know it. But she also might forget about it in 10 minutes.
Oh,
I don't know. So I know that me and Neo had a bit of a argument, maybe about a year ago at this point, on Twitter, because I was pissed off that everyone left my show when I changed it. And so when I started talking about trying to get people on the show or whatever, she got all bitchy towards me, like, well, you suck anyways. And it's like, well, fuck you. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. No, fuck you. That's not at all the actual dialogue. That's just the essence of the dialogue.
It makes sense with Neo, though.
Well, yeah.
She does like to say fuck you a lot.
Yeah. And she may have reminded me something about my balls being in a jar on the fridge or something like that. I don't know. And I might have told her that, well, she sucks, and she might tell me I don't. We got into an argument, but then
the usual. But
we're still Facebook friends. I'm not blocked on Twitter. I think I actually refollowed her. Did I refollow her on Twitter? I may have refollowed her. I don't know. We're still Facebook friends. And I think we haven't really had exchanges since then. So I don't know. I really want to do a Suburban Homeboys reunion one of these days, but I don't think the time's come for that, because, that requires Mars to not have a life anymore and be able to do shows with us again. Because anytime I talk to Mars, well, he doesn't answer my calls. He doesn't reply to my messages, and he only calls in the Dune show when I start giving Dune out his phone number.
No.
Yeah. And whenever we talk to him, he's perfectly cool. He's perfectly friendly. He's perfectly fine. And it's like, everything's fine. No, everything's fine. We're cool. We're totally cool. Everything's fine. And then he never responds to me. So I don't know. I got someone in my ear telling me that, all signs point to he's pissed at you and won't tell you. And then I've got him insisting that, no, that's not the case. He's just busy. But that's okay. Because
I was just making random sound effects for the fuck of it.
Well, you just can't stop playing with cables whenever there's cables around you.
I'm just trying to find a comfortable spot for this.
Yeah. Well, you know what? There's actually a mini tripod that's about this high in a drawer down by the river in a van. No, one of the drawers in the. No, I don't think I got a stand for that though. I don't know if that'll screw into that. You just don't want to hold a mic.
I get lazy.
I could do this.
But I hold a mic, but then I tend to do stuff like this.
Yes, you do tend to do stuff like that when you hold a mic.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm avoiding holding a mic.
Now, speaking of Mike, maybe we should call Mike into the show. Does Mike have a Skype or something? Well, he's got a Twitter.
He's got a Twitter.
He does have a Twitter, and Dune's probably blocked him on Twitter, not having a clue who the heck he is.
No, you don't want to do that. Get those two on a Twitter argument.
No. Well, that's the thing. Whenever I retweet something that Dune doesn't like, Dune blocks that person, and I don't know if Dune knows who you are on Twitter, but I'm pretty sure Dune's probably blocked Mike on Twitter when I retweeted something. So,
okay,
Mike doesn't exist in Dune's world. Venison wants to know where's Dune. I don't know, but Venison, if you want to call in,
you're more than welcome to call in, Venison.
Yeah. And Brian's more than welcome to call in. Call in.
We'll mail you a cassette tape.
NHB Live on Skype, at NHB Radio on Twitter, and at Brian Blues. So see if we can goad one of them into participating. There we go. So yeah, if you all want to participate, NHB Live on Skype, and for the time being, you can still write in NHB Live on AOL Instant Messenger if you're still using it. For old time's sakes, you might want to get in your last AIM messages ever in your life. But you can tweet at NHB Radio if you're into modern stuff like that. Also, if you go to NHB Radio on Facebook and respond to the show announcement, that comes through to our messenger program. And I'm just realized I probably can't read anything that's on my screen right now.
I'm yawning.
Maybe we should just get the dollar bid specials.
Sorry. It's just hot in here.
Oh, Dune writes in, wow, them are some big headphones. You like my head? They're quadraphonic, or they used to be, because the jack for the rears is still here, but the jack for the front came off, and anytime I tried to solder them back on, they would be choppy whenever I wiggled the wire, and so I'd have to cut the thing off again. And one of these days, I'll resolder it properly. If I still have it somewhere in a box, as you want some more, but that's okay because it doesn't actually, like, you see, they're not fat, so it doesn't actually separate the front and back out. It just puts the front and back side by side, so you don't even get a front back separation on these. But they actually sound decent for 70s headphones. They're quality 70s headphones, but they're not good for quad. So there's, that kind of sucks. Looks like I got a message. Oh, that's my message.
Looks like you got your own message.
Yeah, and Venison writes in that he might call in a bit. He's eating some pizza, but doesn't have pineapple on it. And I'm biting my nails to the point of bleeding all over myself.
Why do you have pineapple?
No, I think he would be opposed to pineapple on pizza.
Why?
Actually, pineapple on pizza is not bad.
Yeah.
But you don't need to do that shit in Jersey.
I'm more opposed to barbecue chicken on pizza.
Barbecue chicken on pizza. Yeah, no, we don't need to do that.
That just seems weird.
Buffalo
sauce?
Well, I've tried that. Now, mind you, I used to work, when I worked in New Jersey at the bank, it was next door to a pizzeria / sandwich sub shop, Italian pizzeria. You can get a meatball parm sandwich, a chicken parm sandwich. And when you're working next door to it and you're eating there every day for lunch, you start working your way through everything there is on the menu. So I've tried every sandwich on their menu. And I went through all the regular pizzas, and so you do reach a point where they're serving it was like a buffalo chicken pizza, where it's got the buffalo chicken, the hot sauce, and he put like some of the blue cheese dressing on the pizza, and I didn't care for it. So I did give it a fair chance and try it. The idea was interesting if you want something different from pizza, because you had pizza yesterday and the day before, and you're going to have pizza tomorrow. It's okay to have something that's different from normal pizza in the context of having a lot of pizza. Mm-hmm. But if I go to Jersey and I only have 1 week to have pizza, I'm not messing around with the weird shit. Although I think this past summer, one of the weeks I went there, one day I did get a slice of it was like a chicken parm pizza, I think. Like it had like chunks of breaded chicken parm on.
The best one I've had is eggplant parmesan pizza.
I mean, that could work because eggplant parm is still Italian, and you're putting it on.
It matches.
Yeah, it matches.
It's like having breaded, deep fried.
It's like
eggplant just thrown in your pizza.
It's like having bits of a matching couch embedded into your drapes.
Yeah.
The couch matches the drapes, so you can chop it up and throw it into the drapes, right?
Right.
That works, I think.
Or
right.
You can take your drapes and make yourself a dress out of it.
Or you can wrap it around the couch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, that killed some time. All right. We made it 25 minutes in. Well, anyway, so I think it is time for... we went into the city yesterday, visited 2 record stores, and brought home a backpack full of records. And we discovered the wonderful Boston Transportation is doing this wonderful thing where they're working on a bridge. So that means
on the weekends.
On the weekends. So you take your light rail, you go one stop. Mind you, we go one stop on the light rail. It stops. Everybody get out, and there's buses upstairs. And you get in a bus, and the bus rides around town in the funkiest way possible for people who are trying to stand on this thing.
It smells like a urinal cake.
Yeah, well, you were unfortunate in that you were sitting next to someone who smells like a urinal cake.
I couldn't tell where it was coming from. It was pretty much everywhere.
It wasn't as bad where I was standing. Although there was a funky smelling bus, I'll give you that.
Mm-hmm.
But and then we had to get back onto the light rail once we got to the other side of the bridge and go a few more stops to Fair Harvard, where there's a few good shops there. And let's see. I found an interesting. I don't know. Should I start with cat or creation? Because I think those were the two interesting finds of yesterday.
Yeah, I think we'll go with cat.
Cat. So yeah, this was the shop that's known for their punk music. And the good thing about shopping at a record that's known for their punk music and punk scene is that they have stuff that's not punk that's marked way down, because no one's coming in. People generally aren't coming in there looking for stuff that's not punk. So you can find some pretty good records there for cheap if you look through boxes that are labeled cheap stuff underneath the shelves. And I found this intriguing looking record that is just plain simple called Cat. And it's got a nice close-up of a cat. I feel like Mars should be calling in for this. And kind of a reflection in the cat's eye of, I assume that's the band. And from reading on the back, this guy gives it a glowing review. And I figured, well, if the guy who wrote the liner notes gave this album a glowing review, that must mean it's pretty good, because this guy said so.
Sucker.
And why would I dispute the opinion of some random guy that happens to like this album that they hired to write good things about it on the back of the cover?
Sucker.
At least one other person out there likes this record. So, and it's Canadian, and I like Canadian, and it's rock, and I like rock. And so I figured, hey, and you know what? It's cat. It's simple. It's 3 letters. The only words on here is cat. I mean, it's quite simplistic in its way. And it's on RCA Records. There are good things on RCA Records. It's got a lot of good things going for it.
Crap is a 4-letter word.
Yeah, but this has 3 letters. So we're 1 letter away from crap. And one of those letters in here is wrong. You have to add a
shortened for catastrophe.
Catastrophe. Yeah. So I put this on, and mind you, the glowing review talked about how their first single was really awesome. Not in those words. And the first song on the record is the single that they're giving rave reviews.
You must take a lot for granted, because my life is yours today. And after,
I just realized what a good use for this would be. If you're trying to reissue a sitcom from the 70s that you can't clear all the original music that was used in it for the DVD reissue,
this is cheap.
You could replace it with this, and it would be for the right time period, and it works as filler.
Yeah, works.
As long as it's not essential to the. Well, I do have some harmonies.
you are my light of love.
You know what I think it needs?
You are my dream come true. You are my heaven above. And I give my life.
There we go. We fixed it.
Sometimes you try to change my mind. And I listen to what
do you think? Do you think we improved it some by upping the tempo?
Yep.
This is the problem. We just need to double the tempo. It's actually. I'm surprised. I did this as a joke, but I'm surprised how much better this makes it.
I think the Osmonds covered if he's this fast.
I just want to hear you say, you are my light of love. You are my dream come true.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's so much better. Now that we heard it like that, this sounds wrong. All right, so I figured out what was wrong with that band. They didn't find the right tempo for their songs.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad when that happens, because like the Beatles would try it fast and try it slow, and that's why you have the most boring version of Revolution ever on the album, and one of the greatest singles ever released in the single revolution because they tried it slow, they tried it fast, and they found which one works. And unfortunately, they still use the one that didn't. But I don't know. So that's Cat was a dud. $3, not very well spent. But I think you made some good use of your dollars.
I did. Let's see.
And you bought a lot of 45s.
Yeah,
well, I bought a lot of 45s, but I bought a lot of them today. Well, I bought some yesterday, too. I bought a lot of 45s. You bought a lot of 45s. And I realized I left the Spike Jones. Dune also agrees. Wow, that is better. And Dune's writing in with AOL Innocent Messenger. So he's getting the last use he can as well with these few months we have. Oh, what do you got? You got something on a... Oh, this is good use of money. And this is something that he just noticed the name, recognized the name, noticed it was an unusual label. And I noticed, too, the same thing when he was playing it. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty, like, fucking awesome.
It is.
I dig rock and roll music. I can do the twang and the jerk. I was strictly...
It's Agent 000 by Edwin Starr, also known as the guy who did Wah! That guy.
Yeah, before he did that.
Yeah, and apparently I did a look up on this label, Rick Tick Records. They were basically a rival label to Motown in the early days, and Berry Gordy managed to like steal most of them over to Motown by giving them better contracts or something. I don't know. But basically he somehow got a lot of the people that were signed there over to Motown. So it's kind of a pre-Motown thing.
I don't wear a false mustache.
Venison would like this. I hope Venison's listening. But yeah, this was only $1. We were looking through boxes of 45s at this stand that the guys just like, $1 each. And there's two types of $1 each 45 boxes. They're the type that have been picked over that are filled with either crap or stuff that's trash that like has been picked over and sitting around and just needs to get unloaded. Or there's a type that the guy has out all his LPs, doesn't have time for 45s, and there's a lot of like stuff that he just doesn't care about or know about that has not been as picked over. And that's what we found today. So we're finding some awesome $45s. And we only went through like half the boxes because we were like, damn it, we're spending way too much money today. We need to stop looking at 45. That's a good record shopping day when you have to stop looking at the records because you need to stop spending money because you're just finding so much awesome stuff. Dude's writing in the late 70s. I paid $1 each too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could go back to that.
Well, some of the albums I found in the 80s of these 45s said it was $1.29.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 45s, what, you could buy an MP3 for $1. So $1 for a 45 would be a fair price.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, a lot, like, I found some, what's annoying is when you find the box filled with awesome 45s for $3 each. Because then, like, it's not overly expensive, but you can't buy half the damn box. So you have to kind of pick and choose. Mm-hmm. And like I picked up some $3 45s a while ago of a AA side reissue of Left Bank, Pretty Ballerina, Walk Away Renee, Who Joined Together in excellent shape. So yeah, now that was one of today's 45 finds. My other find from yesterday, though, the second shop we went to, I was looking in the like electronic and avant-garde and experimental sections, and I found this in the electronic section, and it was only $3, and that can be dangerous because if you got a record that looks, this is called Creation, Roger Kellaway, featuring Houston Pearson, and it's mid 80s and a lot of synth stuff. Now I generally prefer 70s heavy synth stuff, and I kind of know 80s synth. It could be good, it could be bad. and it was only $3, so it was worth $3 to find out if it was good, and it was worth $3 if it was bad in an amusing way. And yeah, I think it was $3 okay spent. So we put this on yesterday, and I think we had a good laugh over this. I think the 80s puked all over my turntable right now. Bow, 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 bow. I think it got better into the second song, though.
Is the green does man really know?
It's got that lovely, funky 80s bass sound.
It's got some leftover disco mixed with new wave. Oh God, these headphones are like giving me a pressure headache. I'm gonna need some acupuncture by the end of this show. I'm gonna need someone to twist needles around in my head to make me feel better. But yeah, it was worth $3 to laugh at it yesterday.
Yep.
His vocals are kind of interesting.
The theater I do believe. Thunder and lightning. Sometimes fire.
So yeah, you know, I looked up this guy. This guy like did music for different TV or movie stuff. Nowhere on any of his biography information, even on his own website, is this album mentioned at all. And it mentions
an embarrassment to himself.
And his Wikipedia page mentions a lot of albums he did or was on. But I can find nowhere online where he takes any credit for this. Which is too bad because it's amusing in its own way. So that was $3. I think that was better spent than on the Cat album. You know what I realized? I realized we didn't play with the tempo on that one. Hey, that.
It's now a dance tune.
Now we can dance to this. There we go. Well, that's why they make these turntables, for dancing. Now it's a slow dance. No, it does not work as a slow dance. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? $3 well spent, or
It's $3 well spent. It's better spent than the $1 I'm about to throw down now.
Yeah. Well, he was looking. He found a Dusty Springfield 45, and then
I wasn't really paying attention. I was just grabbing singles, and I saw Springfield, and I saw Phillips label, and I was thinking Dusty Springfield in my head, and didn't think much of it.
And next thing we know, you end up with a 45 of a group called the Springfields.
Boy, was I mistaken.
Yeah, not Dusty, just Springfields. Hey, it's country and western.
All in one.
I love those dear hearts and
You know, it might work as a western tune if we slow it down.
who live in my hometown, because those dear hearts and
Kind of a nice western.
Yeah, but you just have to reverse it to make sure there's no hidden lyrics in
Nah, I don't.
Nope, doesn't even work that way.
Sounds the same both ways.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that was $1 not very well spent.
But at least I got a nice little white sleeve.
Yeah. That sleeve's probably. And actually, he marked you down from 18 to 15 after he tallied
So it was
up what
kind
you
of
had.
a freebie anyway.
So yeah, it's like a free. It's like paying full price for a sleeve, is what it's like. But before I get to my 45s, so there was this one booth where the guy's starting to get to know that I'm kind of coming by his booth every few weeks, and so he's actually like, talking to me when I swing by. And he's like, "Hey, how was that Rolling Stone record you bought last time?" I was like, "Oh yeah, it was good. It was good." And I'm holding this record, looking at it, and this is Saturday Night Fever, not the original soundtrack. It says right on the cover,
not the original
soundtrack of Saturday Night Fever with a big disco ball, not the original soundtrack. And he was like, "Hey, we could tape up that split seam for you." And I'm basically like, "Well, I was just noticing there's." Oh boy, Venison calls in for the good stuff. Hey, how's it going? Thank you.
We didn't get to hear that.
You have to. Don't worry, we'll fix that in post. Yeah, this turntable does some cool stuff. We'll have to work on that. Yeah. So as I was saying, we got a message coming in, and that's Dune writes in. Ven is not coming through on the tube. All right, let's figure out why. All right, so Ven's coming in here. And
then not the tube,
and that's being sent to the tube. All right, so let's take a look here at what's going on. For fuck's sakes. All right.
Selected the webcam mic. Genius.
All right.
Don't you love computer breakdown?
No, user breakdown.
All right, so now, Venison, why don't you tell Dune, keep in mind Dune just lost a dear beloved pet, so why don't you tell Dune what you think of him, and be nice.
Now why would you do that?
No Korean barbecue recipes, please.
I was just warning you. Like, don't say the types of things you'd say on Twitter. We're not doing that this week.
No need to. I have no need to. It goes off on its own.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Actually, Venison is very well behaved normally on the stream. I'm usually the one that's not very well behaved.
Yeah, we found that out.
This guy right here is the guy that starts shit. I'm seeing levels come through very well now. Actually, I don't. It was going with default recording, so it may have been picking up our mics. I just don't know where from.
Well, it could have a webcam mic built into the webcam.
It could have been doing that, but no, Dune was getting the music, so it was getting something off the board. But it might have been getting the aux send for Skype instead of getting the aux send for the Hangout. And the reason for this is because I'm using Opera the first time this week, so I actually never entered in settings on here, and so I forgot to check that in my rush to
Shame on you.
My bad. All right. So.
Oh wait, quick question. Wait. Oh no, that's right. It doesn't matter. You're using an old, newer operating system, so you wouldn't tell.
I'm using 7.
Yeah, probably work there. I was about to say, if you're using Opera, are the videos on Twitter coming out?
I've just started using Opera. I've noticed Twitter working all right, but I haven't. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. And Dune writes in, wait, I just had you turn Venison's mic on. That just happened. Yes, that did. All right, so this guy is
He's in that much mourning.
This guy's starting to pay attention to me and being like, hey, how do you like that record you bought last time? And normally this guy's records are priced reasonable, but not like awesome bargains, but okay deals. Like, you got to find stuff you really want. in his pile, his stash of records. And this is the type of record. It's on Pickwick Records. It's not the original soundtrack of Saturday Night Fever. It's the type of thing that I feel should be $1, that I might pay $2 for, and would pause for thought at $3. And I'm thinking this guy probably would have normally thrown a 3 tag on it. And so I basically, when he's asking about taping up the split, I kind of said, well, no, I was just curious about the price. I'd pay $1 for it. And he said, yeah, sure, you can have that for $1. And I'm glad I worded it that way. Otherwise, he probably would have tried to sell it to me for more, and I probably wouldn't have tried to talk him down. But he didn't tape up the seam after I made it clear I was only paying $1 for it. That was the last I heard about tape. I think he would have charged me extra for the tape. But yeah, so Pickwick is quite an interesting label. All your favorite songs, as recorded by whoever will record it for the cheapest, is, I think, the motto of Pickwick. I don't know, Gothard, have you gotten a chance to listen to much on Pickwick?
Mostly reissues. Gotta love it.
They hired female singers to do the Bee Gees. And it works.
Wow.
What do you think of that, Venison?
Now, in a way, that's almost insulting. It's sort of like the female Ghostbusters. Which I saw, last weekend. I thought it was pretty good.
It wasn't insulting because it really wasn't like they were trying to remake it.
Right.
But man, some people really got pissed off about it.
Some people got sand in their shorts.
Well, they're shit, I can't say the word.
But they also do songs other than the Bee Gees songs. Like they do the Manhattan Skyline, which, who needs a horn section when you got a synthesizer to cover all the melody lines? Dune writes in that sounds like a school chorus.
It does.
Yes! Thank you, Dune. I couldn't quite put my finger on it.
I can't put my finger on it.
This is like great filler disco background music. This is like when they want everyone to start filing out of the disco at the end of the night. That didn't sound quite right.
No.
Yeah.
Which one was the one that you were like, I like that one? Oh, is that You Should Be Dancing?
Yeah.
We might have to put some more. I gotta say, this was worth $1, and I'd be okay even if I paid $2 for it. But it was definitely worth $1, and it's fitting that was $1. Seth and I basically both at the same time started moving our finger up and down. Boom, boom, boom. At that intro part.
It sounds like somebody's just like tapping a keyboard.
It is that school chorus again. No, that's exactly the Get the F Out tunes they played from Dune.
Well, we know what market they were targeting. See, I couldn't tell much different between the original and this.
Oh, the original's much better than this.
Barely.
You can tell these are like half-rate studio musicians that are playing the backing track, that are going through the motions.
Just like the original.
No, there's more feeling in the original.
Yes, one of the most expensive records I found from Excitement was Nina Simone's Nuff Said. That's always good.
No, I just have
but
to
that's
defend.
Not $1.
I need to defend. There's much more feeling in this. There's much more feeling in this. And better production.
It's a lot more production, but the bass playing is better.
Yes.
Tighter and there's better fills.
Yeah. See, there's much more feeling in the original.
No, there's more
The
fills.
feeling I get like 2 weeks ago was throwing up after a lot of drinking. So after hearing this a lot, oh, wow.
This is like, you know, some of the talented kids in your local high school getting together on the weekend. All
Oh
right.
my God.
All right. They also tried to do KG.
Jesus, there's a half bottle of vodka left.
Now, this is sad because this is the best song on the soundtrack. I mean, the original soundtrack, KG, MFSB, it's probably the best song on the soundtrack. Would you agree KG is the best song on the original soundtrack?
No.
Well, not this one. I mean, we're missing the horn section here.
They don't have my favorite song off the soundtrack.
What's your favorite song on the soundtrack?
Disco Inferno. Why not?
Well, so this is your favorite. You prefer this to?
Yep.
Oh, come on. All right, Venison, which do you prefer? KG or Disco Inferno? You know this song, right, Venison?
Can I say D? None of the above.
Exactly.
Oh, well, come on. KG is MFSB.
Yeah, but it's easier to dance to the other one, and it's a movie about dancing, so come on.
But this is still the better song. I don't care about dancing. I care about listening to the soundtrack. It doesn't matter what the song is. I still suck at dancing.
No, the other one's a better song, too.
This is the best song off the soundtrack.
The other reason I like the Tramps song is because it was also used in Ghostbusters at the moment that a dog eats the character that is listening to it, which is the perfect response to that song being
okay. Fair enough. That doesn't make it a better song, but that is an amusing reasoning.
Oh yeah, speaking of which, that Ghostbusters song at the ending credits, that was funky. That was fucking cool.
Which one?
Actually, like I said, it's the first one at the ending credits.
Of the new one?
Yeah. That song was cool. Even I started tapping to it.
Right.
I don't remember what it was.
I think you wanted to play something. Oh, did you want to play a cover?
Yes, I figured since we're doing interesting covers, I think it's time for another interesting cover.
This is an interesting cover. Now, Venison, you know that old classic, It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want To?
Unfortunately, yeah.
What do you think of the original?
Not much.
33 or 45?
Oh.
45? Okay. Do you think it could be improved on, though?
I hope so.
All right. So here we go. We found a better version of It's My Party. No, I think it was around here I said, well, it's too bad that he didn't have as good a vocalist as Annie Lennox to work with.
Yeah, it is kind of sad, but...
Because it's...
she wasn't going to put her name to this shit.
Yeah. Not that I think Annie Lennox should sing It's My Party, but you definitely notice David Stewart working with inferior vocalists, so they're kind of like, well.
The beginning of that sounded like something you play a Halloween party.
Yeah. So what do you think, Venison? They went goth with it.
They were targeting this to Dark Elf.
I could see that.
Or Dark Druidic Witch.
Dark Druidic. No, that's what you meant.
Yeah.
that would work better.
No, I have Dark 45 in here somewhere.
Yeah. Oh, Human League.
His karaoke favorite.
I think I actually didn't play that. Or no, maybe I did play that. I forget. I wasn't gonna play it, but everyone made me play it.
Then it's the greatest hits.
Nobody knows where Johnny has gone.
Nobody knows.
No, we have, because it's the 80s, we have to slow rap about it. Poorly.
Cry.
Because I'm so goth.
I recall this getting better, so we have to play it through. We don't need to play at the speed with this. It's just right.
Look out! Look out! Look out! Look out!
No, that was the leader of the pack.
Yeah, I know.
They all those white guy songs kind of blend into one another, don't they?
You said it, I didn't.
Because I knew you were thinking it.
No, actually I wasn't, but now.
But now.
It's my party and I cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. Cry if I want to. You would cry too if it happened to you. It's my party.
David Stewart discovers the note bending feature.
Yes. And she discovers the vocal note bending issue feature.
And turns boring real quick.
First world problems.
Yeah.
Now this would have been a lot better if they had kept the goofy, the creepy sound in the beginning with some of the reverb and echo voices in the background to make it sound ghosty and creepy.
Yeah, it would have been great if it was a ghosty, creepy version.
It was kind of hokey though, so I mean, it works in its own.
But I just had to know. I was just like, it's on the Stiff Records label.
Yeah.
Label.
Yeah, Gotham's got to check out the Stiffies every now and then. Yeah. Something like that.
You said it.
All right. Well, I picked up a really cheap box set on one of the outside tables today at the flea market, and this is some kind of educational set. Listen, a guide to the pleasures of music. So this has got.
Oh boy!
This basically covers Beethoven to the period of time that this set came out. So it's got some Beethoven, Mozart, it goes before Beethoven. Why do they start with Beethoven and go to Mozart? That's weird. And Debussy, Beethoven, Copland, Liszt, Rimsky-Korsakov, and the last side of it gets into the more modern time stuff. Of course, I haven't had a chance to pull these records out, and they're all out of order. That's record 1, that's record 4, that's record 3. There we go. There's record 6.
6 of them.
Yeah, 6 records of music appreciation. And so, usually you get one of these sets, you can get some interesting stuff on the end of the record. So, the last side of the record starts with some Charles Ives, which, could be interesting, might not be. What do you think of Charles Ives there, Benson?
It's a murder film.
So that's a
film noir.
That's a thumbs up then.
It sounds like Hitchcock.
I turned the corner, and I saw him. He had the knife in his hand. I shouted out to him. He started running. I ran after him.
It was
with my gun in
hamburger.
hand.
Dune wanted me to speed up the "It's My Party." I didn't want to do it. Although Dune did point out that the song I was playing was the one that John Travolta got mad at the DJ for playing and said, "You can't dance to this." And the DJ said, "Hey, look at that girl. She's dancing, man." And close, but no, it was actually it was this song that that scene happened in. But they are both very similar. Moving right along, we got some Varese on here.
Who?
Edgar Varese.
Not familiar.
Well, this was probably one of Frank Zappa's favorite. When you do that, it messes everything up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to sing along.
I don't know why, but it was making things mute. I think it messes with the board. But no, Zappa had an album of Varese that he liked to piss off his mom with when he was younger. I think she basically said, "Take the turntable into your room," when he brought home the record of this. Which I believe is
why.
The story is that there was a local stereo store that had a record of Varese's stuff in their demonstration record bin. And Frank Zappa kept pestering them to sell it to him, but he didn't have enough money to buy it. And so eventually one of the guys said, "Well, I never sell a stereo when I use this to demonstrate it, so why don't you just go ahead and take it for the few bucks you have?" Because I can't sell anything playing this anyways. So he got a really good deal on it. So yeah, this was a very influential to young Frank Zappa.
Yep.
Yeah, there's an album that sounds kind of like it.
Actually, Frank Zappa recorded an album of he got together an orchestra and oversaw. He couldn't direct it because it was in his last days when he was very ill, but he did oversee the recording of a whole album of Varese. And because he died before the release date, it never got released. It's still sitting in the vault.
Ah.
And Gail never got around to putting it out. And Ahmet's not doing any better than Gail did. So, there you go.
Sit around and collect the checks.
Yeah. Now, the reason I bought this is because it has a pre-switched on Bach Wendy Carlos piece on it. Variations for flute and electronic sound.
Wasn't she Carlos Santana's sister or something?
No. Wendy Carlos recorded the album Switched on Bach, was friends with Robert Moog, and helped him to develop the Moog synthesizer. Did the movie soundtrack for Tron. I'm not going to say the other things she was well known for. But I think she made good use of electronic sound in her early compositions.
Well, as long as they electronic sound.
What do you think?
She's a weirdo.
It's very much 20th century music. Avant-garde.
I think the piece with piano is a better one, though.
I think the record crackle adds to it.
It does, doesn't it? Well, Wendy Carlos did release an album in the mid-'70s.
I like this part.
Yeah. This is really good. I'm now just getting lost in this now.
Yep. It's craptastic.
I need to clean up the record and see if I can clean up some of that crackle. Or find a better recording.
I hear sarcasm in that one.
Oh, come on. Alright. I think the better early Wendy Carlos piece is Dialogue for Piano and Two Loudspeakers. What did you want to me to queue up next while we were?
I'm gonna go grab a record.
Oh, grab some beers. So Gotham's gonna grab a record or 10. So you didn't like this venison, did you?
Not really.
It's interesting.
To you.
This one's more melodic than some of my really far out there stuff.
If you say so.
All right. Maybe. So you're looking for something more tonal with more feeling?
Slightly more normal.
Oh, okay. All right. How about this? Is that more? Is that more to your liking? Is that more your preference?
Believe it or not, I find it slightly campy and entertaining.
Okay. So we found that Dune prefers "What's New Pussycat" to the dialogue for piano and electronic sounds.
Dune.
We'll see if Gothard agrees.
How did you confuse me with Dune?
I didn't say Dune.
Yes, you did.
Oh. Well, because normally Dune's here at this time. We want side 1 or side 2?
I think it's side 2.
Alright, that's enough of this.
No, side 1. Sorry.
Side 1. Side 1! So, this was, what, $1? Yeah, I think you paid the guy $1 for this from one of the outside
Oh, it's
tables
definitely a $1 one.
at the flea market today. This is Jungle Drums. Oh, there's actually drums on this one.
Jungle Drums?
Yeah, this is called Jungle Drums.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And it shows a nice picture of some, like, bongos in the jungle on the cover. It's an orthophonic recording, which means that this record's old enough that they were still referring to electronic recordings as orthophonic.
Yep.
And that they were still advertising the fact that they were electronic recordings. Now, when's the last time you walked into a jungle and a horn section greeted you?
Yeah, I was about to say that.
There's a lot wrong with the conceptualness of this.
I think this is... I suggested... I made the observation, I never realized that jungles had elevators.
They do.
And that's when we coined the term Jungle Vader.
Yes, there was Jungle Vader.
Well, I suppose, actually, if you have one of those, like, fancy buildings that you put a potted plant in the elevator, that would be like a Jungle Vader, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it's the type of jungle that a wild fire truck hangs out in.
Oh, yes.
Stalks its prey.
The wildfire truck. Who stalks his
leave
prey.
the R word out of this.
The R word?
Never mind.
Can I buy a vowel?
A.
Oh, come on, it is not.
It rhymes with insist, I'm sorry.
Well, I think I did suggest that this is white guy's jungle music, or something like that.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I don't hear anything that's particularly insulting here.
Go to band number 2.
It's jungle music. Does that sound like jungle music?
Well, if you wired up a long extension cord and brought a turntable out into the jungle and brought this record out there with you and put it on, yeah.
Here's the wonderful thing about this record.
You get a spear in your chest.
Is parts of it sound the same forwards as they do backwards.
Can you even tell I reversed the record?
It's barely noticeable.
Really?
And forwards. All right, I don't think we need to key match for this one. I think we just need to
Next record.
see how fast we crank that thing up. It's a calliope. It's like going to the circus. And the maybe a flea circus. I don't know.
Yeah, then it sounded like a Tom and Jerry cartoon.
That made it more interesting, though.
And it still sounds the same in reverse.
Oh man, what should I? You know what? Maybe we should. Well, while we're hanging out in the jungle, while we're talking about field recordings, maybe we should go authentic, because one of the well-known labels for authentic field recording type of stuff, or preservation of different types of music, was Folkways Records. And there's this one bin, this one stand at the flea market that this guy must have picked up a college library's collection from Vermont, and they must have had a music school in this university, because that's where you find all the oddball stuff. And so there were things on Folkways Records in their library, and anything on Folkways is collectible. And when they're selling every record for $2 each, you just, without any question, pick up anything that's on Folkways and spend your $2 each for it. And that's why I have a record of Hungarian folk songs. And I've not had a chance to put this on yet. Side 1 has female vocal solos, and side B has it doesn't say if it's male or female, but it was recorded in Hungary under the supervision of Bela Bartok. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Bela Bartok, big name in music. Bartok's quite famous.
That sounds familiar.
And I guess he had some musicology pursuits in preserving certain ethnic music. So
Try side 2.
So this would be folk songs in Hungary.
Yeah, do a side 2.
Do a side 2? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to side 2 and see what we got here. Because I think Stravinsky also did a lot of field recordings back in the day.
Oly keservesen szól a kertek aljában, míg a madár sem repül szíve fájdalmába. Dudaszó hallatszik a kertek aljában, juhász legény fújja szíve fájdalmába.
Okay.
Now, I think they show a picture of him listening to stuff that I believe is being played off of a cylinder. I believe in the early 1900s, Bartok recorded these probably acoustically onto cylinder recordings. These are literally field recordings to preserve music that was not typically being recorded or preserved, but probably more traditionally handed down to generations. I mean, so it's something that's worth $2 to check out what's gone on in other places of the world in history.
Well, I can't speak Hungarian, so it doesn't do a lot for me.
Well, you don't need to speak Hungarian to appreciate some Hungarian flute playing. Ugh. Hungarian flute playing. There we go.
Aki dudas akar lenni, annak pokolba kell menni. Ott vannak a jó nagy kutyák, abból lesznek jó.
There are translations in the booklet for this, if you want to read along. You know, the entire Folkways library is in print from the Smithsonian. You can buy them on downloads. through their site. Most of them recorded in from records.
And anything that requires me to read translations of something while it's playing, no.
Well, what about
Too lazy.
bagpipes?
Same way with anime.
I think they're almost finished strangling that cat, and then they'll sing another song in celebration. It all comes down to cats on this show, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, do we want to listen to more Hungarian folk music? Do we want to go to Italy, or do we want to just, are we done with folkways?
Do you want Italian, or do you want Brazilian?
Brazilian. Oh, that is a classic right there. If you're ever shopping in the cheap section of a record store, and you find something by Walter Wanderley for $1, take it. Don't pay the $1, just take it.
Song number 5.
Song number 5. No, Walter Wanderley is great, and this is one of his more.
Pick anyone off there.
This is one of his more famous albums called Rainforest by Walter Wanderley. This one might be the mono one. I'll have to check if mine's mono or stereo. But yeah, it's a great music for setting the mood.
Oh, that again.
Oh, yes.
Great rainforest music.
Yep.
No, this is Elevator.
There's a Brazilian of them out there.
Yeah, the beer's kicking in.
Yep.
Plays Car Crash Flip.
So, Venison does not approve of this being referred to as rainforest music, I take it.
By itself, it's, okay, because I recognize the tune, but still. Keep on theme.
Okay.
It was $1.
It was $1, yeah. He paid the appropriate price for it.
That says a lot.
Oh, Walter Wanderley is always $1 well spent. Anytime you can. I got like 3 of his albums, and I just, I'll stack them on the turntable so I can listen to 3 sides nonstop and turn them all over.
It's great with cocktails.
Yeah, exactly. We're having beer tales.
We're doing beer
Eat
tonight.
the cocktails. You're going to make me go back to vodka.
We got the music for it. Smirnoff.
I've got a liter left. I don't know how.
Yeah, usually you drink it all in the first night.
No, the first week anyway.
The first 5 minutes. Yep.
Oh, I tried that. The first time that I, hit the vodka bottle after 4 months of hell, financial hell, and that was a mistake because I decided I'm going to get ripped.
So this is Italian Folk Music Volume 1 on Ethnic Folkways Records. Recorded
it's yellow.
And they pressed this one on yellow vinyl. I guess that's what they had on special that week. I'm thinking it was a low-budget label. I mean, it was certainly not profitable, but it was about the preservation of the different types of music. And this was...
I'm still using Febreze on the corner of the couch.
Why?
Like I said, I got ripped. And I realized when I stood up, I was stumbling around all over the place.
You didn't make it off the couch in time.
No. All of a sudden, you just...
Oh, I thought you peed your pants.
No.
All right, well, I'm sure that'll...
Oh, the smell. Oh, God.
So, yeah, this is Italian Folk Music Volume 1, recorded in the field by Alan Lomax with Diego Carpitella. I don't know what... I have to read the book for more details, but I didn't realize Italians did folk music. But apparently they did. So
first time in 40 years I puked on alcohol.
Well, that's what happens when you drink enough of it. This is some interesting sounds so far to start with. Well, this is the Bells of Alpine Cattle. Does that count as music? I mean, I suppose it's the sound of the area.
Just as good as some of the other stuff he played.
All right. So this is a field recording of cattle with their bells. It's a unique sound. I can see this, being an interesting. I don't know. I think I'm putting everyone to sleep.
Now you got more cowbell.
More.
It's got plenty of cowbell.
You need cowbell? We got cowbell. Need more of that cowbell.
They're dancing.
Let's skip ahead in this record a bit. So it's basically ethnic music of a certain time and place in Italy. And I mean there's a booklet that explains what's what on here. This is educational stuff that, for $2 you have the opportunity to file it away to actually intend to one of these days broaden your horizons, and maybe you'll get to it before you die, maybe you won't.
Was the producer of Blue Oyster Cult Italian?
Christopher Walken?
No, the actual one.
Oh, I'm kidding. I thought it really was him. I thought that was a documentary that they interrupted Saturday Night Live for. You need me to
think all those
put the little thing on the thing.
The adapter.
And hit the button.
To the correct speed.
This was your best purchase all weekend, I think, right?
One of my best purchases all weekend.
This is on Stax Records.
And it was $1.
$1.
And Venison will actually recognize this song.
$1 for something
and
on
like it.
Stax.
I want everybody to get up off your seat and get your arms together and your hands together and give me some of that old soul. You didn't have to love me like you did, but you did, and I thank you. You didn't have to squeeze me.
There we go. Now that was a good buy, and it's like pristine condition too.
How can you go wrong?
Such a clean sounding 45 and a great song. What do you think, Venison? You like the Sam and Dave?
I haven't heard this since the 60s.
This is so good I have to holler for help, but you didn't have to squeeze.
The 60s.
What's that?
I said, the 60s.
Yeah. Good times.
Good decade. Yeah.
I just need to find a 45 with Soul Finger.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck finding that, I suppose. Thinking that's highly collectible.
I need Knock on Wood.
That's another good one.
And Venison is crackling up.
Well, that happens when we play the music too loud. Sorry, what were you saying, Venison?
I'm saying, that's still one of my favorite songs. Soul Finger.
Oh, yeah. That's a classic. I guess I should go through some of the 45s I found. What were some of the notable ones that I found that you think I should share with the people? Oh, well, we could always play... this is one I always felt like should have made it into the Suicide Top 50. Don't you think that should have made it in the Suicide Top 50?
Probably.
You're familiar with that one, right?
Vaguely.
The droning sound of the music matches with the tone of the subject of the song. They don't do the Steely Dan thing where they, in a very cheerful tone, sing about some guy that likes to touch children. There's none of that going on here.
Wow.
Everyone's gone to the movies. Now we're alone in land.
No.
No. This
I think it's time to hit the vodka.
This is clearly a song that is a sad song that sounds sad, and by the end of the song, you basically want to blow your brains out because you just feel so bad for this guy who just wants to talk to his girl before she runs off and gets married to someone else.
Sylvia's mother.
Already you can tell this guy has been through something.
to come to the phone.
Like,
Sylvia's
yeah, she couldn't come to the foam. They're having a foam party where they shoot foam.
start a new life of her own.
He just wants to talk to Sylvia, and Sylvia's brother's like, dude, you're not ruining this wedding. The bills have been paid. The guests have flown into town.
Whether you like it
Just
or not.
go the fuck away. And this operator keeps asking for more money. It's just like, you know, damn it, operator. I'm trying to save this relationship. Just take my change and shut up.
I'll only keep her a while. Please, Mrs. Avery, I just wanna tell her.
You know, I never liked this song. But it's on Kate Till's Believe in Music, so I had to buy a 45 of it. What do you think, Venison?
Oh, this.
You've recognized this now.
Yes, I do.
Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's marrying a fella down Galveston way.
When this came on the radio, I usually change another station.
Please don't say nothing to make her start crying and stay.
Damn, we just got her to move out of the house. Don't mess this up. She's heading to Galveston. She's heading to Texas. You have any idea how far away that is from here? We've got rid of her. You're not messing this up. The operator wants some more money. All right, I've had enough of that. I'm about ready to bang my brains out listening to this guy drone on.
So you intentionally bought that pile of dog shit for that song?
At some point, I need to have the entirety of Kate Till's Believe in Music on 45s. There will be stacking involved.
Okay.
And that requires having this. Because...
Size 45.
Because what else am I going to listen to after Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves? Obviously, Sylvia's mother comes on after Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. Right? Okay, so
Venison, can you fax me some of that vodka?
I have whiskey. I have bourbon. I have... Oh, you know what? Do you want to do a shot? We could do a shot. Would you like to do a shot?
Shots?
Yeah, we could do a shot.
Okay.
Well, I'll cue up the next record, and I'll get some shot glasses, and we'll do a shot.
We're doing a shot of what?
You'll find out. It's in the freezer.
Oh dear.
It's
vodka.
It's crossed the equator twice in a boat.
If you go across the equator twice, wouldn't that make you back in the same place you were?
Well, yes, it went round trip, and apparently taking it on a boat and crossing the equator twice adds to the character of the flavor of this fine stuff that is potent, and it's Norwegian, and you got to yell "Skål" before you take the shot.
I'm liking this now.
You're liking this, yes. See, I'll let you read the bottle. So what do you what are you gonna queue up while I get the bottle? Oh, we gonna take you higher?
Well, no, just because we're gonna do the B side of it, just because it's more dancey and interesting, and it's the alternate B side to Electric Avenue.
Yeah. He bought a 45 picture sleeve of Electric Avenue, and it's got a different B side. And if you need to turn things up or down, 11-12 is the turntable.
Oh, I think this will be fine. It's also appropriate music for something that's crossed the equator a couple times as some pseudo reggae disco dance fun funk weird ever thingy by Mr. Eddie Grant. And what is Venison drinking?
Vodka and Mountain Dew.
Oh my God, vodka and Mountain Dew?
Yeah.
Flat Mountain Dew with an alcohol kick.
It's not flat. I just opened the bottle.
That's what it tasted like when I tried it once. Although vodka and Tang is just as bad. Oh my. Yeah. Twice across the equation. Okay.
That's the good stuff.
The Crazy Dutch.
You know my aunt and uncle that you met?
Yep. I'm assuming this is your version of a Dutch treat.
That uncle's Norwegian, so his family would do. It's traditional to do a shot of aquavit at Thanksgiving dinner. I've picked up the tradition, and it doesn't have to be Thanksgiving.
This is aquavit?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. I haven't had this in a long time.
You've had aquavit.
Oh, yeah.
Aquavit?
Mm-hmm.
My aunt says it tastes like mouthwash. No. All right, so we got to yell skull and then do the shot.
Love aquavit. It tastes like rye bread. If you could make an alcoholic version of rye bread, that's what this tastes like.
All right, so we ready to yell skull?
Skull.
Skull. You're right, that is kind of like rye bread.
Oh.
Good stuff.
That goes down easy.
Hey, did you do a shot with us too, Ven?
I did a guzzle.
Nice.
So that's a yes.
It goes down nice. You got to keep it in the freezer.
Or that rye flavor gets out of control.
We gonna do another shot of this later, or should I put it back in the freezer?
I'd put it back in the freezer.
All right, I'm gonna put that back in the freezer.
I had the feeling when that catches
come
up
on.
with you.
Don't be chicken. Do another shot.
Maybe tomorrow.
You
No,
get fucked up over 2 shots? Come on.
I'm not getting fucked up over 2 shots. I'm not planning to get fucked up.
Well, if you get fucked up on 2 shots, that's pretty bad.
You had aquavit.
I've had it before. My mother's bought it before.
Oh.
That's traditional Norway and Swedish tradition.
Oh yeah.
Thank
Well, that uncle that you met, he's Norwegian, so in his family they did that. So he introduced me to that Thanksgiving. So
I wonder where you get it.
The big red building that you pass on the way to visit your parents.
Christmas present bought.
That's where I got that bottle.
It's time for Christmas.
There you go.
Rusty nails and shots of aquavit.
That's great. I'm glad I broke that out.
Buckets of eggnog. It's Christmas.
Oh man, what else should I break out from the? You heard most of what I bought. Well, that sucked.
You tortured him with all of it?
Oh, you know what? We can always break out a classic 45. And since you played a B-side...
Yeah, it's time for B-sides.
It's time for B-sides.
The best B-side of them all.
Oh, my God. This is the...
This one rocks.
Yes, we bought the best B-side of all B-sides.
Okay. Is that the right speed?
Well, yes, that is the right speed. And by the way, there are 2 Beatles playing on this right now.
Yes.
Ringo on the drums, John Lennon on the screeching guitar.
Oh no, track one.
What's that?
You dared to put a Yoko Ono track on?
What happens when you mess with the aquavit?
Well, we're playing B-sides.
It's how Yoko convinced John Lennon to record this song.
No, they were doing 2 albums at the same time. She recorded a whole album of this. Ringo said it was fun because it was like a jam album.
Ringo was high as a kite the whole time.
That was the best part right there. The tree falling. Maybe we should... Now for the reason to buy that abomination. What's on the other side of it? Classic rock song right there.
Yeah.
Venice, does that make it worth having the other song to have this song come with it?
As long as you forget about it instantly.
Well, that's where the aquavit comes in. Well, this is a classic song worth having a clean
It is
45.
a wonderful song, and I have 2 45s of it.
That means you could stack them and listen to the Yoko Ono song twice in a row.
Yes.
And still usable today.
Because that's the side that's always in pristine condition. Even though it sounds worn out, because it sounded like that from the beginning, hoping that people will think they actually played it more often.
Oh, we're being so mean.
Have you seen Yoko Ono in action? It's not mean.
No.
It's performance art.
It's That's right. She trick-coded into undressing on camera.
Nothing's mean. It's performance art.
Performance art. So, yeah, you got some more 45s over there.
Yeah, that's the excuse.
You want 45s, or do you want more interesting covers or weird?
Whatever you feel like going in this. I mean, it felt like you shifted to the 45s, but if you got an LP to throw
Flip a coin.
Oh, yes. Now you have we have to do the that would be the Cantina band.
Tutu. Side 2. Side number 2. It's a bit warped.
It's a bit bold.
Yeah, but that's what the record clamp's for.
We found a guy that sells toys that ended up with a pile of records, and he was like, please take the whole pile. I'll give you a deal for that whole pile. $12, you can have the whole pile. And it had, like, Eagles and Boston.
And Van Halen.
And Van Halen. And
Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Bob Seger.
I just wanted a copy of Michael Jackson's Thriller out of it.
It had Michael Jackson's Thriller, which alone sells for more than $12. But it had this. So there we go. The Moog, the Electric Moog Orchestra, doing music from Star Wars.
Wow.
Yep.
Good stuff, isn't it?
It's irony because the whole reason we were drawn to the table is Kristen loved the Star Wars figure that was there with the excellent pecs. I don't know why.
But it didn't have the typical blue cover that we normally see this one in, so it looked like it was actually a Star Wars soundtrack.
Yeah, they went with the pure dark cover.
They probably got sued for that and had to change it to be the blue one.
Well, what's funny is it's gone black and white. They may have gotten cheap near the end.
That could be too. Well, I already have a copy, so I don't need that. But
you need it on 8-track, though.
Yeah, I do need it on 8-track.
Yep, at least one person has to fuck it up for everybody else.
What do you mean? It's a great album. You don't like...
That's great.
It's cheesy, it's synthesizer. What's not to like?
It's the fun version of that song.
You say so?
Oh, these are all mine, too.
Well, then we should flip the record over and play the Imperial Attack.
Oh, yes. Yes, we should.
Oh, boy.
That one might pull the needle into the middle a little faster, though.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what... Yeah, this record got a little bold.
Famous last words.
Well, it'll be a great test record for my record flattening technique.
Well, we already determined the Cantina band was the best cut off of this record. I think both the copies we both already have are in better shape than this one, unfortunately.
Yeah, but like I said, this will be my test record for flattening out a record.
Oh, in the oven?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because then I have a real record to compare it to as far as does it degrade in sound quality.
Right. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a technique for flattening records, like putting it between a few panes of glass and putting it in an oven at a low temperature for a period of time, just to soften the vinyl enough to let it flatten. And it's the type of thing that you should kind of test on a few test records before you kind of get down a process. And if you're doing it on a record that's bad enough to need it, worst case scenario, it's still a bad record.
But on this case, it's, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go crying if I accidentally mess this one up.
Because we already have copies of this. And
because I have a squeeze album that needs to be squeezed down to flatness.
You got to squeeze your Squeeze album.
Yep.
What the hell?
You never heard of Cooking Your Records? You've heard of Bacon Tapes, haven't you?
Not really.
Well, there's a certain...
Here's the domestic segment of the Amateur Hour.
Well, there was a period of time... There's a certain tape that, after a certain era of audio tape was made with a certain formula that gets sticky and gooey in modern times because the binding is kind of loosened up. And so there are
Radio Shack tapes.
Well, no, I mean, we're talking professional master tapes. There are an era of master tapes from like the 60s and 70s that when you pull them out of the vault, they're kind of gooey and sticky and start, peeling off onto the head if you try to play them. And so it's found
Like Radio Shack tapes.
No, Ampex.
You want to bet?
An era of, well, I'm sure they do too, but that's not what we're talking. We're talking about like stuff that really needs to be handled with care and has irreplaceable stuff on it. Well, I guess
Like the Zappa catalog.
Right. Well,
Zappa was the guy that discovered that played around with it.
Well, that's what this guy in the chat room told me some years ago, that they would put the tapes in an ISO booth with the lights turned up to kind of heat them up a bit. Whether he discovered something other people discovered at the same time or he shared a tip with someone, but eventually it's become a regular process that if you have tapes of that type of stock from that era that are gooey when you pull them out, you actually bake them in an oven.
Except for the Paula Abdul Master.
Yeah, well, the Paula Abdul, you microwave that.
Yeah. And it sounds stupid, like we're joking, but no shit. I heard it straight from
Bob Ludwig.
Bob Ludwig,
yeah,
the mastering genius.
Well, it came with instructions because, like, they
microwave
knew
instructions.
Yeah.
Take out Paula Abdul, put her in the microwave, set the microwave at X for so much time.
Never in his life was he more careful about what buttons he pushed on that microwave. But
Probably gave you instructions on which megawatt microwave.
How they
wattage
came up with this process and knew that her tapes needed this, I don't know. I want to hear that story. All I know is your story was that Bob Ludwig got an instruction set that involved a microwave with these tapes he needed to master. And it's like, what? How? There's a story before that we need to hear.
But he did not tell that story, and I was so sad.
But anyways, the point is, it's common practice to with tapes that get sticky like that to bake them at a low temperature for over like an hour or something like that. And that buys you an amount of time to be able to play it, and you can do that a certain number of times. So basically, the idea is bake the tape, get your properly done transfer to a high resolution digital pass, and store it again because you might be able to get away with that another few times. But
this record doubles as a tracking test record.
It does.
Question on
Here's your
that.
bowl. Go ahead. Yes, Venison.
Do you have to unravel the tape or leave it on the reel and bake it? Because it sounds to me that if you bake it, reeled up, the stickiness will stick together and form one big mass.
No, I've actually done this because I've borrowed some tapes. That guy that has the storage locker, some of his tapes were sticky, and he actually had a food dehydrator because the do-it-yourself at home method is a use
food dehydrator.
Yeah, well, a food dehydrator. Think about it. It's round. It has all these layers on it,
and it's a heating mechanism.
And it throws off a low heat over a period of time. And if I think Wendy Carlos's website actually has an article about using this for this purpose, for your own home purposes. And,
wow.
And the thing is that yes, you leave it on the reel. No, it doesn't make it. It's already sticking to itself. You're making the tape go back to its form it should be in, and then it doesn't stick. I've done this, and it works. And I
don't think I know of anybody that had a food dehydrator.
Well, I borrowed the food dehydrator from this guy who loaned me the tapes that needed it. And the Sparks quad tape that I actually sent a copy to Sparks manager who sent it along to them needed this done. And the thing is that most consumer tapes are on plastic reels. You don't want to put a plastic reel on this, so you need to transfer it onto a metal reel and put that in the food dehydrator. And do that for a period of time. do some more research online. People have written articles about this, but yes, that will. And I had to do it twice. I transferred the Sparks tape twice because I had my real deck refurbished. So after I had it refurbished, and after I got the attention of the Sparks guys who told me, yes, we want a copy of the tape, please take that down off of YouTube and send us a copy, and you're cool. And so I decided to give it a second pass, and I needed to reheat it. And so that tape's been heated twice now. And
Too late.
I don't know.
All the tapes I had to read, or even closer to that, all died. And again, most of the complaints were with the Radio Shack tape.
So you had tapes that needed this, and you didn't know what to do about it. You just thought it was,
No, actually, it was so bad. The hubs, the spikes in the hubs, at the that catches the what the hell's the word I'm looking for? Well, the thing that makes the tape go around.
The spindles or the tables or
the Caspin?
Well, no, the actual plastic of the tape itself.
The flange?
Whatever. The little spikes disappeared. They dissolved and were gone.
Well, I couldn't
even play the tape.
Well, that's a whole other problem. I heard of someone that had a problem that he was given Dave
and then the tapes
at Walmart. Go ahead, Venison.
And then the tapes themselves would get so, like you said, they would perforate. They would puff up and get bigger to the point where you couldn't even, play it.
Yes, that's the story I was going with. Dave at Walmart, that used to work with radio, someone gave him an old family heirloom tape that they wanted transferred onto a cassette or something they could listen to. And they got the tape, and when they started playing it, it puffed up and moved out bigger than the flange of the reel it was on. And so they had to get a really big metal reel to carefully spool it onto. And they were able to pull that off, and they were able to get it to play one more time to transfer it over to cassette or whatever. And they gave the family back the big reel on the metal reel and said, here, good luck with that, but here's your cassette. But we got a glass harmonica record that and this is on Vox Records. I totally, that's a good label for preserving. But this is glass harmonica, which is glasses filled at different levels and moving the finger around the rim. But I guess this is.
We guided that.
I guess this is.
I don't know if this was an harmonium they used or a glass harmonica.
I think you used both because they show the guy with the glasses. There's notes on this album.
We did that. I was over a friend's house and we got a whole bunch of crystal glasses, filled them up with water, and played them.
Well,
it sounded cool.
Yeah, this guy's got several glasses in front of himself that he's putting his hands all over, and this is classical music. And I guess they have him do some, but then they also show someone with a.
Well, they show Ben Franklin with his harmonium. He invented the harmonium.
But I don't think that's what they're playing on here. I think that's just a picture.
They just put the picture on there to get you interested.
But this guy's doing glasses.
I think they probably sold it at Benjamin Franklin museums.
It could be. Well, I'm waiting for some glass harmonica parts to come in here. Right now, this is just Baroque. Which side am I playing?
A or B.
This is side 2, I believe.
Oh.
So.
Broken glass?
But it doesn't say what's on side A or B on the back of the cover here.
You know, why did Philip Glass never compose to glass harmonica?
Because he wanted to be taken seriously. That would be such a sticky thing to do.
Don't tell them.
Quirky thing to. That would be a gimmick.
make
Glass
the
composes
music.
for glass. It's glass on glass.
No, make the music and don't tell them how it's played.
This is a serious composer pianist, and you want him to do glass on glass.
Yep.
That's like glass on ice. Oh, here we go. Here's not glass on glass. You know what? It's too bad he didn't mention that idea to me when I actually had the opportunity to go, hey, Phil, can I call you
glass
Phil?
On glass.
Hey, Phil, Can I call you Phil? No? Philip. Can I call you Mr. Glass? Oh, you don't want me to talk to you at all? Oh. All right. But
Go back in the fucking elevator and don't talk to Bowie again.
Dave, my man. How you? Oh, you don't want to talk to me? No.
Punch to the face.
Oh no! I wasn't going to destroy your tapes. I was only going to destroy Philip's tapes. No, you're all digital now, right? I cleaned your TV, but we cool, Dave? No. I'm sorry. I'm going really dark with this, aren't I?
It's dark.
But anyways, glass harmonica, totally worth $2.
$1.
$1.
It's a dollar bin special.
Yes. You could still buy great stuff with $1 or $2.
Glass tunes are cool.
Yeah. No, that was a really cool find.
Yeah, I mean Mozart on
glass harmonica.
On glass.
Yeah, that was Carl Leopold Rollig, Quintet for glass harmonica and string quartet in C minor. So that was.
Did you say contempt?
Quintet.
Okay.
So that was actually composed to be performed on the glass harmonica. Let's see if I'm curious if this is something that Venison will go like, yeah, that's nice, I never heard that before, or wow, I haven't heard that in a long time, or well, that just sucks.
Okay.
All of the above.
All of the above.
Critical attributes on.
Yeah. Well, here we go. This is something I picked up that I think is a classic.
When I die, I hope to be a better man than you thought I'd be.
Well, I thought this charted. Kind of soulful.
Executive chart.
It is.
No? Now, have you never heard this, or you've heard this and don't like it?
Never heard this.
What do you think
Don't
of it?
like it.
What don't you like about it? It's got a cool thing where it switches back and forth between two parts that kind of modulate into two different keys. So let's give it a chance to do that. Here we go. Here's the modulation.
It's not hard to understand why you get discouraged.
What, are you turning it up or down or?
I'm just turning it down slightly.
Well, but now I'm heavy on the right. I can deal with it.
How's this?
I'm evened out now.
Okay. It's weird how that resistance thing reacts.
And now we're back to the original key. You're not digging that one?
Sounds like a Kingston Family Trio.
No, it's a group called Motherload.
It's a load, all right.
They recorded on Buddha Records.
Put this one on. Even though it's a crappy looking condition.
They'll take anybody.
It's still worth it.
Well, Buddha had some great stuff.
They had some
James
great
Cotton
stuff.
was good on
but
Buddha.
that's not one of them.
That's not. I think that's the good song.
Stories was good on Buddha.
Stories. Well, they were on Kama Sutra, which was the parent label to Buddha. But Kama Sutra was started and distributed by MGM, and the guy who started Kama Sutra wanted some more freedom, so he started Buddha, and then did his own distribution, and then Kama Sutra was also distributed by Buddha. And what's the story with this record?
Yeah, I had
It's just damn good.
Buddha, and they were good.
All right, Long Distance Records. Oh, it's got a nice disco beat. Oh, this one. I remember we were laughing at this one last night, at how like generic it was or something.
Yes, it is generic. It's generic disco. It was the last vestige attempt of the Jimmy Castor.
Yeah, it's no troglodyte, but it's catchy.
Next station.
What was that, Ben?
Let's see. And when I hear this, I go to PLJ.
You can spend the night. Stay with me. Spend the night. Disco music. Sex, sex, sex. Disco, disco. Sex, sex, sex. Yeah, I think we got the theme of the disco.
Add synthesizer, pad setting.
I like the sex part.
Hey, you'll listen to disco if it'll get you laid.
You know,
Yeah,
we should
70s,
actually
yeah.
make a parody of this.
Make a parody of a song no one knows. That would be genius.
Well, that way, if anyone recognizes it, we'd say we're doing a parody,
Yeah.
and no one would recognize it in the first place, so it would be like,
About
disco music, sex, sex, sex.
Yeah, exactly.
Disco music, sex, sex, sex.
We just have to find someone that can play saxophone, though.
Loads of cocaine up your
Sex,
nose.
sex, sex. Coke, coke, coke.
Sex.
In your nose.
No, we didn't do that back then.
Now, if we work our way into the 80s when we were doing the cocaine, and by we, I mean I was a child.
No comment.
Guilty by association there.
Let's say, you know what, I think I made this ingenious observation today.
I had a broken ankle.
What if you like the sounds of the 80s doobies, but you hate Michael McDonald's voice?
It's got more uses than
You know what I mean, Venison?
pot, according to the AMA.
I mean, but you totally got this analogy. You want to hear something that's kind of like the doobies in the 80s, but you can't stand Michael McDonald's voice? Well,
Doobies in the 80s?
Yeah, because remember, like, What a Fool Believes? But you can't stand Michael McDonald's voice, but you like their music? Well, then listen to the Pointer Sisters instead. Dollar guilty pleasure.
When I first saw him standing there, I longed to speak, but
What do you think, Venison? Doesn't this bring you back to the 80s? All those great 80s sounds.
No. Guilty.
Oh, come on.
Yes, you are guilty.
Oh, would you rather I put on some Kaja Gugu?
Oh, no. I avoided that one like the plague.
Oh, come on.
he's so shy. He's so shy.
It's kind of like What a Fool Believes without Michael McDonald. That's why I like it.
That's what
I
Aretha
avoided
Franklin
Boy
did.
George, too.
That's what Aretha
Thank
Franklin
God I
did
can't remember his songs.
because of the cocaine.
Because you don't remember the 80s because of the coke.
No, oh, no, I remember the 80s. I remember the cool stuff.
Okay. You know what? While we're in the 80s, I think Gothard has just handed me what you probably remember from the 80s.
I mean,
This
come on,
is
the
truly
80s.
a song from the 80s.
Now, Venison, you liked Weekends in the 80s, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now, how do you feel about Mondays when those rolled around?
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly. And so someone wrote a song about it.
Not bad.
There you go. We found Venison's song from the 80s. He hated those manic Mondays.
You know what I hate about 80s compilations? They rarely include this 45. And don't you remember this playing to the point that you wanted to blow your brains out?
And isn't that what 80s compilations are all about?
Is that what Monday's all about?
Exactly. I think this really encapsulated the feeling of Monday.
Yep.
You had a great weekend, fantastic weekend. You were stoned, blitzed out of your mind. Great adventure and, amusement parks and arcades. And
Next
then
thing you know, you're driving to work on a Monday morning and this is on the radio.
Because the DJ thinks it's funny.
And you just want to shoot him through the radio.
It was probably it was usually coupled with Monday Monday by Fleetwood Mac.
So that was $1 well spent.
Yep.
What do you think, Venison?
Say
Was that worth $1 for that 45?
50 cents.
Cheapskate.
Well, technically, he
Damn
did
right.
knock $3 off your price, so or $2 or something. He rounded you down to the nearest five.
Why?
Yeah, $3.
Please get us out of here. Please.
I think he was thrilled someone was looking through his boxes of 45s.
Oh, yes. A stack of 45s.
And like I
gone.
said, these were boxes of 45s that were not well picked over. All right.
But you grabbed them all.
All right. You know what, though? I think we do want to try to find something more venison speed. And you know what? I think that would be venison.
Yes, that's venison speed.
That's venison speed.
Although this
I'll
is
be a judge of that.
All right then. All right, everyone, put your money down. Is venison going to say, "Oh hell yes" or "fuck no"? So let's and
place your bets.
No more bets, please.
Hell yeah!
There we go. There we go. Classic background music from early amateur hour.
Yep.
Can't go wrong with Outer Space.
He found one song out of this whole hour that I like.
And that's the one song that we will hear this hour that Venison will approve of. Oh man, we are running into overtime now, but I don't know. I think dinner's finishing up, so we might need to wrap up soon.
Is there a live show after you?
I don't think so, but dinner's
All
being
right, then.
dinner is like on its way to the table, and yeah, we're gonna join the missus for some dinner.
Eat while you're on the air.
No, we're not gonna do that. We want to do another shot of Skull and invite. No, I don't. All right, let's do one more, and you know what? Let's see. Should we try to discuss venison or make venison happy with our last choices?
Make me happy.
I don't know if I've
You've
got.
disgusted me for the past hour. Make me happy.
Well, yeah, but I know my strengths. You know. All right. You know what? I got one that could go either way. And you got something really. Are you watching porn on your phone?
Yes. No.
Funny thing about the TV. Never.
So, all right. So we're gonna try to make venison happy with one last thing before we wrap this up for some dinner, and that's okay because we'll be back for Insert Tighter here tomorrow. I don't know if you'll still be here though.
No, I'll be on my way back to the land of apples and maple syrup.
Yeah, you're not gonna hang out till 10 before you start driving.
Yeah, Gothard.
No.
You can buy. You drive back Tuesday morning.
No.
No.
I've got to get back.
Gothard, good to hear you in here. It's been a long time.
I know. It's been too long.
Yeah. Well, you know, Mondays 8 to 10.
I got to go back to the land of the heroin zombies.
Yeah. Well, Mondays 8 to 10. You should call in more often.
I should.
I'm here. Ben's here. Brian's here. And
But from what I could see on the train, it's not just where I live.
Yeah, get them away from a particular subject.
Yes.
Anyways, so what's your last 45 before we wrap this up? Or anything that you want to play? Or do you have anything else you want to share?
Should we go with?
Oh, I don't know. That.
Or would you prefer that?
Well, I thought we were each going to play. All right. You know what? I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is, and I don't even know what the A side is. But this side has a lower catalog number than the other side, so this could be good, or this could.
Mystery.
This I've never heard of this one. Maybe I'll know it when I hear it. So let's see if this is good or not. I bought this because it was $1, and I like the groove.
Running away to get away. Ha 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 ha.
Oh, this is
Do you
off.
remember this?
This is off the album with Family Affair. Maybe this is the B side, or was this the A side? I don't know. Venison, did you ever hear this on the radio?
No.
All right.
Not that I can remember.
All right, let's try the other side. Maybe the other side's the A side. Let's.
This is the A side.
Well, all right, we figured that out.
Oh my god, I wish I had this. The Beastie Boys sampled this.
All right, so this sounds like an A-side.
Yeah, they definitely sampled this.
I didn't realize that this album had a second single. Now I'd have it. All right, Venison, you approve of this?
Well, sounds different. Well, I'd probably listen to it.
We've dropped enough hints. You know who this is, right?
Yeah, you said it by a title, but the name group just escaped my mind. But I know
blank in the blank blank.
Blank in the blank blank.
Well, yeah, fill in the blanks.
DJ from San Francisco that formed an interracial band.
That tells me a lot.
Boom shakalaka boom shakalaka boom boom.
Maybe it's a vodka, but it's but
He doesn't remember even everyday people.
The memory lanes are being blocked by traffic.
All right, well, let's play the hit, the big hit off the same album that this was off of. And that would be on this disc. And that would be...
I do have this one.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, I know it.
Oh, okay. You just don't remember Sly and the Family Stone.
Yay, thank you.
There we go. That's what you were forgetting.
Yep.
Dang.
Like I said, it didn't come out of the memory. It was blocked.
Anyways, on that note, I think it's time to put another...
I think that's a good note to end it on.
I think it's time to put another episode of the Dune and Bob show. One of those ones that has no Dune or Bob.
It's a family affair.
There's no Dune or Bob this time.
Yeah, well, there doesn't have to be a Bob, so why should there have to be a Dune, you know?
Well, if you do a Bob, you can just do this.
We're bobbing. We're bobbing the music.
Okay, there's the Bob. Okay.
Yeah. So we're bobbing.
Do you have a pile of sand? And then we'll have a dune.
Well, we are near the ocean, so.
Okay.
We're family. It's a family affair.
Yeah. Anyways,
Come together.
Once again, our hearts go out to Dune and Simon, and
yeah, that's just it. I feel bad for Dune too. Now like figuring out what it was.
The beloved Badger Hound.
Simon's in there somewhere.
There's a beloved Badger Hound there somewhere.
Dachshund.
Badger Hound. That's what Dachshund translates to. Badger Hound.
I see. Anyways, be sure to check out nspradio.com for all your internet radio needs. Oh, that's right. We want to try to be educational, so I think we've learned something. I've learned that venison don't like the mother load. What have you learned, Gothard?
Learned so much. It's so hard to condense it down. But I've learned that the machines at the Boston station do not like one of my credit cards.
And he learned that while we were waiting for him on the other side of the turnstile.
I got better what I learned.
All right, what have you learned, Venison?
I have learned that gators will pick up anything if it's $1. He'll buy that for $1. No matter how bad it is.
To be fair, there are way more 45s in those boxes that were $1 each I looked at that I didn't buy than the ones I did.
Oh, yeah.
That just goes to show how bad some of the 45s
can be.
Oh, yeah.
All right. NHCRadio.com. Tune in tomorrow, 8 to 10 for Time Out with Gators. And good night.
And hopefully it won't be a disaster like last week.
That depends on Brian.
And I'm drunk as hell. And I got 3 slices of the mega pizza to go.
Good night.
Mega pizza.